Radio Rahim with Malik Scott. Now, normally I don't wear my spectacles, but today I knew you were coming, and I feel like I'm in class. You know what I mean? Like I had to show up for the professor to let him know I'm actually studying this fight.
Absolutely.
And it's been some time since we've been able to go over my homework and take some notes.
Let's get into it.
It is an arc, I believe, for any trainer and fighter to really gel and to learn a technique that is being imparted to you, especially the kind of teaching that you do, requires some repetition. So, how difficult has it been as a trainer knowing what is the potential of your fighter to get execution on the things that you're teaching in the ring on the night?
Concerning the man I'm training, Deontay Wilder, this is somebody that his last 3 fights, I've been his head trainer, but before that, Deontay comes from a place of knocking everybody out with his God-given ability, which is the right hand. And I'm coming in and I'm probably trying to not change him at all, but I'm trying to give him options on how to deliver it from different angles or different perspectives and things of that nature. And it's not difficult at all because Deontay is an open book when it comes to me and my teaching and my knowledge, and whatever myself, Don House, and JD's and Cuz Hill we come up with, he's willing to try. If you feel like it don't work a few times, we communicate about it and we just go forth with another game plan or go forth with another attack that will come up with another drill that's beneficial and conducive to his style.
He's famously said to me before, skills don't pay the bills. When he was knocking everybody out, footwork, technique, and all that was out the window. Let me wait until that right hand lands. So knowing how fundamental skills are to boxing and that being something you impart, that's what I mean by the difficulty of taking a guy who has that kind of talent, that kind of power, and saying, you know what, we got to work the footwork. We got to work the defense.
Yes. You got to realize Deontay will say that, but at the same time, he'll say that, then go into the gym and work on balance. He'll say that and then go into the gym and working on tucking his chin when he's jabbing. He'll say that and go into the gym and then drill. So what he's saying in that aspect of skills don't pay bills, he can't be meaning it intentfully because you have Muhammad Ali, you have Floyd Mayweather, Sugar Ray Robinson. The list go on and on and on how many skills fighters bills have been paid. It's actually been more skill fighters bills have been paid than, to me, one punch knockout artists. You know what I mean? Even though that's a special talent and it's a special gift, so is having a bunch of skill. But my whole thing is everyone can have their perspective on that and their opinion on that. But once you get in the gym and your teacher and your coaches start teaching, you have an open mind to everything concerning whatever is the development and to make your style better. That's all that counts. So Deontay have that perspective, but at the same time, he knows better. And I know he knows better because when we get in the gym, he's working on jab defense. When we get in the gym, he's working on good balance. When we get in the gym, he's working on making sure he put people in a good position to throw a right hand and not just throw the right hand. So he knows better, and he's a mature man now, and he's not a young man coming up in this no more. He's almost 40.
Last time out, he was coming off an early stoppage, big right hand knockout like we've seen even earlier than we're accustomed to. And then he ended up in a skills match, 12 rounds. First, Joseph Parker, first time he'd gone to cards and lost. What does he take away from that experience? And I know he said going in that, it was execution, but in the corner, how are you trying to get him to execute the fight that you want him to execute, but not being able to get him to do it?
I got to a point in the Joseph Parker fight that I knew was Joseph Parker would just have his high guard up and he wasn't doing much. And I just started telling Deontay, just go to him and be assertive. I don't care if you punch in his gloves. Go through his guard. Go through it. Assert yourself. He just couldn't pull the trigger. And he couldn't pull the trigger because Andy Lee and Joseph Parker, they put themselves in the position to be aggressive but not also be dumb. They wasn't really coming over Joseph Parker front knee as much as Joseph Parker usually do. So you got to give them credit. They had a good game plan on Deontay Wilder's, in my opinion, most least assertive in boxing. You want to say it's good.
See, I've been doing this so long that I didn't even flinch. Every time he did that today, everybody jumped. But you know what? That's just like, you know what I mean? Birds in the trees. It sounds like music to my ears. That also means that you probably got to go relatively soon. So let's look at Zhilei Zhang and the challenge that faces, because he has the same. Of course, bro. You know what we do. You know,
Knees and backs, better knees and backs.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean?
That's right. It helps me move and keeps my
Yes.
feet nimble.
Yes.
You know, I think it's no secret. I say this every time that we interview that, you know, when I have the opportunity to train in Los Angeles or anywhere really that this man is, I'm training with him. It is, you know, always my trainer of the year
Yes.
because of the teaching element. I'm not saying the only, you know, coach out there that teaches, but you are really one of the few teachers that I've learned from, and I see consistently teaching all levels of boxing.
Yes.
So Zhao comes in kind of in the same space that Wilder was in maybe a few years ago, where nobody thinks he's really doing anything but knocking people out. Nobody's talking about his footwork or his defense or his agility. It's all just big punch, big man. Like, how long is it going to take you to stop
Everything he does
people?
well. Yes.
So how do you, I was going to say, not fall into the trap of just being, you know, a shootout where Wilder probably does have the advantage. Just if it's, you know, right hand to right hand, I don't know anybody that has more success than Wilder at that.
Well, Zhang is a southpaw. Yes, he covers space very, very quick for someone his size. He doesn't cover space to get to his opponent to deliver a punch faster than Deontay. But for him to be 280 pounds, he covers space pretty fast and get there. And behind him, he has Sean George System, who is also a very, very good coach. I've known him since I've been 16, 17 years old. And the way he teach and go about coaching his fighter it comes from a very systematic way. Like, it's not about just throwing punches, it's about what punches, the time to throw them, and things that. So that also makes Zhang more dangerous. What most people think Zhang's best punch is, I don't. I believe it's his second punch. His first punch is the straight left hand, but his real most damaging punch is the right hook. You know what I mean? So me being aware of that, me being aware of what he do when he feints, what he do for his defense, what he do when things get dark for him, how his mannerisms is when things get dark. They're not very good, and he turns into a Pop-Tart when things get dark for him. And those are the things that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Deontay taking him in a dark place and then putting him out cold. But the way we're going to have to do that is we're going to have to be assertive but not dumb. We're going to have to be explosive but not dumb. And when I say dumb, I don't want Deontay going out there playing rock'em sock'em with anybody. You hit me, I hit you. I don't want a trilogy how him and Fury did. I'm not in that. I'm in for Deontay going in here, breaking these guys down systematically and knocking them out cold for entertainment purposes, because that's who he is, a killer. But now, as he's older, it's just a way to do certain things. And the way to do certain things, you could be very dynamic, you could be very violent, but you could also be very, very into defense and dress down the defense as well.
We've seen Deontay, before you came on board, have some trouble with, like, Luis Ortiz, a southpaw, right?
Dangerous southpaw, yes.
And Zhao Zhang is a dangerous southpaw. And now that you're employing these skill sets that clearly, like you say, he's been training on, but now perfecting and adding to his repertoire, is there a danger that he'll be overthinking it? Because it takes a certain kind of, I guess, reflex with the southpaw to stay in the right position, have your feet on the outside, do all these little things. Because that's after that fight was when he said skills don't pay the bills.
Right.
You know, he and I have had these kind of back and forths. And this time out, is that a danger that he'll be too much in his head instead of just letting his hands go?
I think Zhang is too much of a dangerous opponent. He's too big for anybody to be in there overthinking. That's one option you don't have with, to me, being in there with Zhang when you are a Deontay Wilder. We screwed ourselves with not pulling the trigger last fight, coming across with the presence of overthinking. Deontay don't have time for that. Me as a teacher and a legitimate coach, what I believe in myself and my system, I don't have time for that. And we don't just know who we're up against, but we also know what we have to do to beat him and to put him on ice like Deontay has to do. So, like, the thing of overthinking, the thing of waiting around, moving, we that's not an option for us. It's an option for us to be defensive. It's an option for us to be explosive, dynamic, violent, and assertive, but we're not going to forget defense. We just can't.
We've talked much about the mentality of the fight in the ring. We've talked about technique and where you're going to be thinking or not overthinking when it comes to execution physically. But we also know that most boxers and trainers will tell me it's 80% mental in there anyway, which is, you know, more important to a degree than physical ability. We're at the elite level. All these guys have physical ability. We've seen Deontay take a journey as a man. We're all growing up in front of the spotlight, right?
Yes.
So he talked about ayahuasca, which brought him peace, which no one can criticize a man for finding peace in his life.
Yes.
But when you're in a violent sport, then it becomes, well, is that peace that you found diminishing your killer instinct, or is that taken away from the mentality of execution when it comes time to be a violent person? And now we've seen the cutting of the braids. He says he's back to being that other guy.
Yes.
Can you talk to me about the arc of maturity and how it benefits him, even coming through that space of finding peace and ayahuasca and all that?
I think it's him being in the position and being the man that he is and being Deontay Wilder. We just getting to watch all of us navigating through this journey of life and finding ourselves through maturity, mistakes, blessings, lessons, and everything. I think that the trials and tribulation Deontay has went through has been under the microscope, and the ayahuasca thing was something as a journey of his that he went on, and it may have brought him an extra piece and took his violent side away. But I could tell you that over these last 6 months, ayahuasca haven't been an option. I could tell you over these last 6 months and over these last, we'll say, 6 weeks, how many guys has went to the hospital from sparring, how many guys has been on their back from sparring, how I literally have to pull him back, because if you don't pull him back with overtraining, he'll overtrain, because that's how bad he been wanting this. So quantum leaps he's made since that lesson, but blessing, the Parker fight is I believe is going to pay off Saturday night. He's put away the ayahuasca. He's put away the peace sign. He's put away white flags of any type of certainty, you can say. He's back to the bronze bomber.
Can you talk to me just briefly about him putting away sparring partners? It's got to be hard to find guys as big and as massive with skill like to imitate Zhang. What's happened to these sparring partners over the course of these last few months?
They felt the bronze bomber. They just felt him. They felt his presence. And if they crossed the line, a lot of them got what they got. That's just who Deontay is.
What did they get? Are we sending guys to the canvas knocked out? Are we sending guys to the hospital?
Yes, canvas knocked out. Some has went to the hospital. And when I say go to the hospital, they haven't went in there to the emergency room and just been in there all messed up, but they had to go get checked out, because concussions happen in this game all the time. But the thing with Deontay and the thing that way JD's, he work a system, we always have great quality guys, and it's sometimes guys get hit with a shot and then they get knocked down and get up. Sometimes I done watch guys get hit with shots and be snoring, with 18, 20-ounce gloves on. He's just it's just who he is. He's blessed with a gift from God. I know extremely, extremely hard punchers. I've been in the ring with Lennox Lewis, Vladimir Klitschko, Deontay Wilder, Vitaly Klitschko. Deontay Wilder right hand get there quicker than any of theirs. So if he's already blessed with a heavy hand, in the speed to go with it, it's double the trouble. And that's the difference to me between Deontay's right hand and I would say like Lennox is like more thudding. Boom, like it reminds me of like a George Foreman feel. Vitaly's is very striking. Deontay's is very dynamic and it's rapid fast. Before you don't even see it coming, and then it's boom. So a lot of guys with with 18 ounce on have felt the wrath of that. And they felt the wrath of that a lot in this training camp.
You mentioned Lennox Lewis, who obviously was the last undisputed heavyweight champion, and probably the last time the GOAT. Did you say it's GOAT?
Yeah, Lennox Lewis, the greatest heavyweight of all time, including Ali's, no. Yeah. If we talking about in the ring, I ain't talking about outside the ring. In the ring, Lennox Lewis is the greatest of all time. These other guys can't even tie his shoe. They're not even close.
Wow. And I would say that probably that was the last time we would say there was the golden age of heavyweights, right?
Yeah.
It was since probably that Lennox Lewis, that last bit. And so now I think we're finally, thanks to His Excellency, thanks to all of these heavyweights being willing to risk it all. And I think this all this undefeated stuff is really overblown. I'd much rather see guys up against really strong competition and taking L, putting everything in the ring and leaving it all there when the night comes.
Regardless of any of that, yes.
So now really the undisputed heavyweight champion is the last one to still have an O, I think, of the elite. and Wilder is still absolutely in that conversation of the elite. Saturday night, though, will be probably the dividing factor for one of them. One of them won't be in that conversation anymore.
Yes.
So if it is Deontay Wilder who's successful on Saturday night, how do you believe he matches up now differently? First of all, against a Anthony Joshua, a fight that we hadn't seen when we all thought we might, but now it'll be a much different fight than it once was.
Yes.
How do you see that matchup? Joshua's on a winning streak. How do you see that?
Not just on a winning streak. AJ is looking good. I haven't seen AJ look like this, in my opinion, since probably a little better now. AJ is better than he was right now when he fought Vladimir Klitschko. This is the best AJ the last two fights I've seen. And before these last two fights, my favorite AJ is AJ against Pulev and AJ against Andy Ruiz. A lot of people didn't like the Andy Ruiz fight because AJ used a lot of jab defense. He used his legs a lot, which was calling for the opponent. But saying that, at the same time, I also believe that we all know what Deontay possesses, and we all know how fast he get to the target, and we all know that if you hit AJ the right way, you can get his attention. And Deontay does more than hit people the right way. He punched through people, and it will forever be an interesting match until these guys get in the ring.
Seldom are there any kind of matchups or rivalries where 4 fights is something people are like, really desiring to see. We might see it, but it's like, oh, come on, man, 4 fights.
Right. The song gets old after a while.
Right. Yeah. But this music might be new.
Yes.
With what we saw from Fury against Ngannou, which was a closer fight than we expected, and then he almost got out of there in the 9th round against Usyk, who he calls the cruiserweight, the smallest heavyweight of the bunch. And a 4th fight is not out of the question.
No, not at all. Especially with Turkey. All he have to do is want to see the fight, and then the fight gets made. I don't think boxing has. I'm not going to say no names, but we had a strong run with certain characters that come through boxing, and then they get networks, and then it be this strong wave of stuff like this. But even when those strong waves have came from these networks and these boxing managers, promoters, and agents, it's never been everyone in the world saying these are great matchups. There's always been these fights is getting made and the matchup just okay. Matter of fact, here's a good matchup. Oh, I don't like that matchup. It hasn't been one matchup made that Turkey has put on that people didn't like the matchup.
Do you like a 4th installment of Fury Wilder Fury?
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And I think like things like that depend on Tyson Fury's mindset, because I don't know if I'm the only one to think this. Tyson Fury tell everyone he's diagnosed with bipolar. He says one thing and do another. He really moves in his own cocoon whichever way he wants. I can't expect much out of someone with that type of mentality and talk about a future, because he'll wake up tomorrow and say, I retire. That's just who he is.
How is this fight going to be different if it were to happen? 4 times out, the first one was a draw. We will definitely always have the debate as to what that card should have been. But it would be the first, clear victory for Wilder if he were able to best Fury. How does he do it this time that has eluded him 3 times before?
You have to take advantage of Fury when he's starting to take you for granted. I predicted that Deontay would knock Fury out in 5 or 6 rounds in the trilogy. And in the 5th round, he almost did it. And the reason why I predicted that is because if Fury is in control of a fight 3 or 4 rounds, usually between 4 and 7, he starts taking you for granted. Fury doesn't fight in a high guard like this. I don't know one human that ever walked to Deontay almost literally like this. And when he did, it almost cost him a fight, because Deontay, you could see the waves going through Fury's body when Deontay went through that guard. Those are the times you got to take advantage of, because then when he got up, Deontay hit him with a shot on the temple. He went right back down. Now to stick with that and do what got you there, because to me what got Deontay that knockdown was him going jabbing to the body, him using the control up top, then going with the straight right hand. With Fury, you got to treat Fury how he treats you. Tyson Fury looks at people belly button and jab their head. He look at people in their eyes and jab their belly button. You have to treat him like that, because if you looking at him in his eyes and you're throwing the right hand and you cock it, he's over here by the time you let the right hand go. It's a mind game with you. And the person that played the mind game better than probably anybody that fought Fury thus far is the man that beat him the other night, Alexander Usyk.
How does Wilder match up against Usyk before I let you go?
2-3 years ago, I said I believe Deontay is the only one that could beat Usyk, and it's because he's lean, he's agile, he's hostile, he's violent, and he was blessed with a right hand that if he hit anybody with, they going to sleep. I think smaller guys have better success with Usyk, not big guys. He's a master at fighting big guys because we'll say Anthony Joshua. How tall is AJ, you think?
I want to say 6'4",
Not at
6'6".
6'6".
Yeah.
Alexander Usyk brought him down to 6'4".
Okay.
How did he do that? With lead hand feints. He feinted him down to the belly button so much that not just AJ, even Fury, a lot of these guys, they start fighting him straight up, but then before you know it, 6 or 8 rounds go by and they bent down fighting him like that. He break these guys down to their size. I can't know that about him and then watch Deontay do the exact same thing. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I'm a film study junkie, man. I study this shit, and when fight night come, I try to implement everything I study to take the other guy weapons away. And you know what I mean? And go forward from there.
Yeah, I've seen you do it. And I've tried to learn how to do it in the ring with you on the pad. So
you gotta come back, man, so we can get some sessions in, Mike.
that's right. We got some sessions in here is what's going on. You mentioned the Deontay's age. We know he's accomplished so much in the sport already, but he's got a fire burning in his belly. He doesn't want to go out like, on a back and forth. Joseph, exactly. So how much time does he have left, and what is the ultimate goal where you think he'd be happy to be like, all right, that's what I did?
Becoming 2-time heavyweight champion in the world. Definitely becoming undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I believe these are the goals that motivate him. These are the goals that he's after. And I believe once these goals are accomplished, he'll have no problem riding off into the sunset with a clear conscience.
Are you feeling the pressure of time? Like, we got to get this in a matter of years or months?
No, I'm feeling the pressure of time of Saturday night. I have Big Zhang to deal with. I have Sean George to deal with. And Big Zhang, I've been dreaming about him. When I'm eating, I'm thinking about him. When I'm jogging and working out, I'm thinking about him. I can't wait to share with you guys some of the type of dreams I've had about this dude since the fight was made, because that's just who I am. You know what I mean? They trying to stop what we got going. I'm trying to stop what they got going on. And we have to stop their momentum, because they had some good momentum besides the loss against Joseph Parker. It's a very interesting fight, though, very interesting, and I'm big on it. And if Deontay does everything he's been doing in training camp, he's going to knock Zhang out cold.
When it comes to Trainer of the Year, that accolade is bestowed. Usually, Freddie Roach told me it goes to whoever has the best fighter. What do you believe is the most important elements of a trainer, irrespective of what his fighter is necessarily doing accomplished-wise, that makes a trainer of the year?
I think you have to get a huge kick out of teaching someone that don't know their left foot from their right foot and watching them develop from feet up into being a great boxer, or a good boxer, not even great. I think teaching comes from the feet up. I think slowing things down to a molasses pace is how you really learn. I think systemizing everything is the best way to go. Not just doing a good move that you've seen off of YouTube, but systemizing that move and giving yourself options on knowing how to go about things. I wish they had like a great innovator or a great something else type of thing, because what I have to give to the game and what I want to give to boxing, I want to give every fighter in the world options besides their own style. So any type of style you have and you're just maybe one-dimensional in or two-dimensional in it, I want to show you that it's 3, 4, 5 ways to skin a cat. Let me show you how.
We've only got 5 days left. There's your pressure of time. It is ticking, and we can't wait for these days to tick off to watch this man in the corner with his fighter, Deontay Wilder, Bomb Squad. You heard it shouted here. We'll see the bombs versus the bangs come Saturday night. Radio Rahim. Malik, the Scholar, Scott.
Yes.
Appreciate you. Love.